Hi everyone, thank you for joining me one more time. My name is Hernan, and in this channel we see how to solve problems using Unity and programming. In this video we will see how to create a button that will allow you to alternate the state of any game object from the scene. I personally use this for showing and hiding elements from the user interface, but you can basically use any object from the scene, 3D models, lights, background music, basically any object listed on the hierarchy can be used by this system. Let me show you an example. Let me show you this application. This is a simulator for a vehicle that I use for work, and I have this button here. When I press this button, you can see the certain UI element appears on the screen. When I press it again, that panel disappears. That could be one example to use this solution. Here I have another button that not only enables and disables certain game object from the scene, but also changes the vehicle, changes the material on the ground. On the latest version, I also hide certain UI elements, just to show you an example on how you could use this solution, and not only to alternate the state, enables or disable a game object, but also use the logic to then create basically anything you need. Let me prepare everything we need real quick. Right click on the hierarchy, go to UI. I'm going to create a canvas. Here on the canvas, go to the canvas scaler, change this UI scale mode to scale with screen size, set the reference resolution to 1920 by 1080, which is the resolution of my screen. And we right click on the canvas, go to UI, and then create a button. Create a button. So here we have the button. Then I'm gonna create a couple objects in the scene. I don't know, maybe this here. Free object, cube. I don't know, a couple of objects just to show how the button works. So the idea is to alternate the state of this object. Basically, we will change this checkbox, but using a button and scripts. So now let's create a new script. I'm going to call it button underscore alternate state. I'm going to select the button and then add this script to this button here. And now we want that the on-click event from this button, that is to say the function that all the functions that we will call when this button is pressed, we want to call a function defined inside the same script that is attached to the button. So for that, we need to define here in the script, we need to define a public function. Let me see. So here we write public void button click. This is just a public function that doesn't return anything, doesn't require parameters, and the idea is to alternate the state inside this function. But first, let's link the button press event to this function. So for that, here on the on-click event, we click on plus and then drag the same button, the same object here, and using this drop-down menu, you go to the script, this script here, and find the button click function. So now when we press the button, this function is called. You can see that by making a debug.log button click. So now when we hit play, we press the button and we see the message in the console. So right now we are not seeing the messages, but that's because I have the logs disabled. Here, if I press this button, then I see that every time I press this button, I get this log on the console. Basically because this function is being executed. Now let's do a quick pause. If you are enjoying this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you. So now let's solve the problem of alternating the state of the game object inside the script. So let's go to the script, and here we will define let's define a public game object variable. Let's call it object or game object to alternate, just a name. So now if you define that public variable, a field will appear here in the inspector. So you can drag any object you want Oh, I just realized that we are in play mode. Let's stop the game first before we make any changes, because when we exit the play mode, all the changes are discarded. So here we have the field, and we can take, for example, this game object that contains a couple cubes and drag it to this variable. So now we have the reference of that game object stored in this variable, and we can use it however we want. So here, when the button is pressed, let's use that variable and execute the setActive function. setActive function. This allows you to enable or disable the game object. And if we pass false as parameter, the game object will be disabled, and if we pass true as parameter, the object will be enabled. But instead of passing true or false, we will pass the opposite state that this game object has. For that, let's use the same variable, and with the dot operator, access to a property called active in hierarchy. But don't forget to add this exclamation mark before all of this, because this inverts the value, the Boolean value that has all this variable. For example, if the object is visible, the object is enabled, all of this is true. So you apply the exclamation mark, and then all of this results in false. That's basically the idea. So let's go into play mode, and now when you press the button, the object is enabled or disabled. So now you can easily reuse this button. You basically duplicate the button. Let's move it to another part of the screen, change the name. Let's name it lights, for example, and then here on the button, in the inspector, in this variable in the inspector, let's drag this directional light. So now when we hit play, this button alternates this game object, but this other button alternates the lights. And that's the idea of this solution. It's simple, but I don't know, I find it very useful. I use it a lot, so that's why I wanted to share it. So the problem is already solved, but I was editing the video and I thought it would be nice to show you how you can extend this system to basically do more things than just enabling or disabling a game object. And I thought on changing the text from the buttons based on the current state of the game objects. So for that, let's open the script again, and here we have this instruction that alternates the state of the game object. But if we want to change text from a button or make more things, we will need to use some Boolean variable, for example, that allows you to define an if statement and do multiple things if the variable is true, or other things if the variable is false. So here let's define a public Boolean variable. Let's call it current state. Initialize it in false. Define a reference let's define this variable tmp underscore text. Call it button text. This variable will allow us to store the reference of the text from the button, and also let's define a public string text when disabled. Let's call it switch on. If the object is disabled, the text from the button should be switch on, for example. And another variable, text when enabled. Call it switch off. So now we will have more variables in the inspector. Here we can drag the text from the buttons. But just to show you a couple more things that you can do, let's find this text using instructions instead of dragging the text on this field. For that we need to think how a button is composed. In Unity, when you create a button, by default, that button will have a text as child. So we can, here this script is assigned to the button. So here we can write transform, the transform of the button, dot get child 0, the transform of the first child of the button, and using the dot operator one more time, we can get a component that could be present on the child of the button. And we are looking for the tmp_text component, which is the text component, which is this component from here. So the result of this instruction is that component. In this case, we know that this is going to work because the script will be assigned to the button, and the button has a child that has this component. So we can assign the result of this instruction into this variable, and now we have the reference of the text of the button, and we can change it the value using instructions. When the button is pressed, we want to alternate the state of this variable, current state equals to exclamation mark current state. If current state is true, then when the button is pressed, it will be false, and if it's false, when the button is pressed, it will be true. And let's define another function, void update elements, and let's call this function when the button is pressed, after we change the state of the variable. Inside this function, we can enable or disable the objects and also modify the text of the button. Let's call it also at start, after we find the reference of the button. This is important. Or if we call the function before we have the reference of the button, and here we try to write the button, we will have a null reference exception. You could try this to see it by your own. So now we can define an if statement. If current state, that is to say, if current state is equal to true, then we can move this instruction to this part of the code, and we can just assign here in the setActive function, assign the current state. That Boolean variable will define the state of the object. And here in this if statement, we can write the text of the button. So button text when disabled, no, text when enabled, because current state is true at this point. And else button text when disabled. So doing that change, it should work. So this is the button that turns the lights on and off. So here we can change the name, lights on, lights off. Let's hit play and to see what happens. As you can see, the lights and this GameObject were disabled at start, and also the buttons are displaying the text when disabled. And if you click on the button, not only the GameObject change its states, but also the text changes. You can also change here, for example, the lights. You can define the initial state as enabled by checking this checkbox on the inspector. Now when you hit play, lights are enabled, but this object is disabled. So that's it. I hope you find it useful. If you want, you can clone this Unity project to access to all these solutions. You can do that on my GitHub account. I'm going to leave it in the description. This is my GitHub account. I'm going to leave it in the description. And here you have a video on how to use GitHub Desktop. In case you don't know how to use Git, you could give it a try. And also in the video, we see how to clone this Unity project. So thank you for watching, and I see you in the next video. Bye.